Hi everyone, Steve Harville with Creative Ventures, and welcome to the first Over Coffee of a brand new decade. I want to talk to you a little bit about biology, and in particular about your five senses. See, these are the only ways our brain gets information are through these five highways, and we're getting a tsunami of data pushed at us constantly. The brain uses a thing called sensory integration to help you organize all the information that your senses bring in. They all come in, they head to the thalamus in the brain except for smell, and they're distributed to the cortex where it sends it out to the very specific areas of the brain. Now, each of these five senses has a specific purpose, and they make up a percentage of your overall reception of information. So let's start with the hierarchy of these senses. The first is touch. Touch is basically pressure applied to receptors. Even though the skin is the largest organ of the body, you get very little of retained information from touch out. Taste is next in the hierarchy. Now, taste is weird because there are 2,000 to 5,000 taste buds on your tongue, and each one of those has 50 to 100 receptors on it. And even though it's large, you don't get a ton of information stored permanently from taste. Next in the hierarchy is smell. Smell is the only sense that doesn't go through the thalamus of the brain. There are little receptors on a patch of tissue at the top of your nose that goes directly into your brain. And it's the most powerful for recalling memory. You bring back memories through smell. But again, percentage-wise, not even 3%. So that brings us down to two key players. The first is hearing. Vibrations to the tiny bones in the ear cause us to understand the different sounds that we get. It represents about 7.5% of the stuff we take into our brain. So imagine if you're on a telephone all the time, you're conference call driven. You're only appealing to 7.5% of whatever your client is expecting to get from you. 7.5. It's a 7.5-yard playing field on a football field. So what does that leave? Well, it leaves the biggie, sight. We're a little unusual in the animal kingdom. We have very complex eyes because we take in almost all of our information visually. 80% of everything you've taken in visually. So how important is this to make ideas visual to your client, visual to your customers, visual to management when you're trying to sell an idea? It's critical. Now, I don't care if you don't want to learn how to sketch. I don't care what tool you use. You can use any tool you want. But if you want to make an idea accessible, you present the idea visually. Now, we use all kinds of things at Creative Ventures. You can see one over my shoulder. We use colors, so you can use colored Post-its. Let me explain to you that everyone wants their ideas delivered visually. When I go and do large conferences, I'm shocked to see how little visual content a presenter gives to the audience. And when they do, how complex it is. The brain wants a simple message. So the challenge to you in the new year is to see how can you leverage your knowledge that 80% of everything your client will take in visually. You can use any tool you want. And I'll tell you what, if you really want to be interested, down here I put a link to a video of the great physicist and mathematician Dr. Brian Greene. He appeared on the Colbert Show and he was delivering a really complex physics idea about a supernova. And he does it in a visual way that made the idea accessible to everyone. Find a way to connect to your clients, to connect to your leadership, to connect to your teams visually. If you need a little help, give us a call. We'll be happy to do that. So I'll see you next month on Over Coffee.